From the Connections Studio Suites, it's Connections. Connections is relationship radio.
Oh my goodness. Hi guys. How you doing? It's me, Melissa, and I am live. Yep. Woo! Okay. So today our guest is going to be down under. He is down under. Matter of fact, I see things flickering as we speak. Down under. We're going deep into New Zealand. Yep, there he is. Greg Macpherson. All right. So we're going to talk, most importantly, about, we've got a book out there. It's called Harnessing the 9 Hallmarks of Aging. And today we're going to talk about speedy recovery time for the under-the-weather days. More importantly, we're going to talk about the incredible edible egg. Welcome to Connections. How are you?
I'm great, Melissa. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's early in the morning, or is it late at night? We're down in New Zealand.
It's a little early in the morning, 5 a.m.
Oh, my goodness. Does that mean you have, wait, what is that? What is Vegemite sandwich going on or something?
Yeah, that's right. And you know what? I'm calling from the future, Melissa. Tomorrow in your time.
Oh my goodness, this is kind of creepy all at once. Seriously. I was just looking up this song from moons ago called IGY. Do you remember it? It's a Donald Fagen tune. Maybe you don't know it over there, but...
No, I don't know it. It sounds neat. I'll look it up.
It is neat because I was looking ahead at the immunoglobulin yolk stuff, and it's called lovingly IGY. And yeah, very cool. Actually, the song itself though is Donald Fagen. Here, I'll give you a little taste here, if you can hear it. It was kind of a cool tune back in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, I think. Yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Got a catchy little tune to it. With that in mind, IGY, though, globulin. Yeah, this is your job. I can't pronounce things.
Yeah.
You're lucky I got Macpherson right.
Immunoglobulin.
You're lucky I got that right. All right, so I booked this as what health benefits are in egg yolks. I was always told that egg yolks were kind of cholesterol-ish and should be avoided. So talk to me.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was back maybe, 20, 30 years ago, right? They were just, everybody was saying, just have the one egg because they're terribly bad for you and all of that. But it's taken around 30 years for everybody just to go, actually, hold on. These eggs are not so bad for you. So I think that these days, just go for it, except for those people who do have cholesterol problems, and I think they do need to limit them slightly. But for the rest of us, it's a beautiful nutritional food.
Yeah, I love my eggs. I really do. I'm not a fan of the whole, just egg whites kind of a deal. I mean, bring on the whole thing, yeah. And don't cook it too much. But now we're even told here in the States that over easy is no bueno. It's not good for you. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, look, I think that I love my over easy. So but yeah, if there is a risk with some sort of infections from undercooked yolk, so it is better to eat them cooked. But you lose this little special thing called these immunoglobulins, these IGYs, and they are one of nature's most ancient immune molecules. And what they do is they're essentially the immune system for the chicken, but we get benefit from them as well, but only if we eat them raw. So it's a little difficult.
All right. So those guys, the weightlifters and all that would shove all the raw eggs into the mixer and then drink it down, they're onto something or no? Too much?
Well, you know what? It's a little like, yes, it is dangerous to eat raw eggs, but it is a superfood. I mean, when you have raw egg white and raw egg yolks, all of the proteins, all of the nutrition in them are good. When you cook them, that's when the proteins kind of break down and you don't get the benefit of it.
Right.
But what our little our biotech company that we work with has done is managed to take that goodness out of the egg yolk so you don't have to have it raw.
So our guest is from down in New Zealand, where it's very early tomorrow morning. That's right. Greg Macpherson. He's a biotechnologist, a pharmacist, and also an author of a book called Harnessing the 9 Hallmarks of Aging. I feel like we spoke like 2 years ago on this, did we? Yeah, on the book when it first came out. Yeah, that was cool. It's like one of my first Florida Roundtable. I think it was from another show that I do. But I remember I was like, I got to hear this story because so often the egg is like told that it's bad. eggs are bad. Stay away from this. You don't want this with that. And I've always felt they were kind of bullied. I didn't think that was very fair, you know. So tell us about the immune health nutrients that you can find specifically in the egg yolk.
Yeah, you bet, Melissa. So there is zinc, which we all know is super good for us. Zinc is involved in something like 10% of all the enzyme reactions in our body. So it's a really important element for us to have. It's got vitamin D. Again, throughout this pandemic, we've all learned that vitamin D is pretty important in terms of immunity. But the big secret, I guess, is these things called IgY. And they're very much like the antibodies that we have in our own body, but they're slightly different. And when you package them up into a capsule, they go into your stomach, and what they do is they are like a sniper. They're like a precision bomb that takes out all the bad bacteria, and that gives the good bacteria a chance to thrive. But it also means that they're like our immune system gets a bit of a break. Right now, when you and I are sitting here, 30% of our energy is going towards producing an immune response to keep the bad guys in our gut and not coming into our body. And so when we put AGY into the mix, what that does is it does a bit of that job for our immune system, gives it a wee bit of a break. And what that means essentially is our immune system doesn't relax. It just means that it's more vigilant and it can help us defend from other, the viruses we encounter in life. It means that we've got more capacity to get that defense and healing sped up. And it also accelerates tissue repair. So it is actually a really something that the guys at the gym are really getting benefit from.
So am I hearing about reducing inflammation, things like that, not just targeting the bad bacteria? So are we looking at maybe some rheumatoid arthritis or any of that kind of cures, or at least symptom, treatment?
Yeah, it's more what you'll get. It's not so much for like the arthritis and so on, but it's definitely like if you have any, I don't know, muscle strain, or you've got something like an injury, like maybe some surgery that you've had,
repair.
then the immune system's got more energy to go and tackle that and put that as the priority, and that just means those things speed up.
I got it. So we're looking at more of a repair process than we are talking about something that's long term that's going to be needed to treat elsewise. But our guts are so important. When it comes to diagnosing anything, even COVID really manifested itself in the gut. At least that's what we think over here in the United States. I'm not gonna. You guys had it really rough over there, so with the lockdowns and whatnot. But so what's it like? Seriously, let's get off the eggs for a second. Let's just talk. What's it been like post-pandemic? And you are post, I hope, down there, post-pandemic.
Yeah, we're just coming off the edge of, I think, our second wave. Look, we were blessed, Melissa. We had a border that we could, we've got a beautiful moat for New Zealand. It's lots of water around. We've got not many people here, so we were really fortunate for the first couple of years. We just lived as normal as the rest of the world was going through some real challenges, right?
Yeah.
But we couldn't escape it. It got in through the doors, and so we've had a hell of a time of lockdowns and so on. But like everybody else, we're coming through it now, and things are opening up. So we're very grateful for that.
That is good. And how did it affect you personally?
Look, it gave me a pretty good insight into what it's like spending some time under your emergency service as in jail, because you get up and go to the same office every day, like two meters from your bedroom, and look out the same window, and time just seems to warp. It's weird.
Wow, it was. It was. Did you miss your social interactions, or were you able to utilize the internet and other forms of communication to make sure you stayed in touch with the world? Yeah.
Yeah, like we did that, but it just still is not the same, right? Something about humans as a social species, we like to connect and touch and so on. So, and then I got COVID, and which was fine. It was like a head cold, but for about 6 weeks, my brain shut down, which was weird. Wasn't so good.
Wow, yeah, the brain fog, I've heard, it's pretty bad. Before we get too out of hand talking about the pandemic and how it was in New Zealand, let's take a quick break here, pay our bills, if you will. We are supported by Pharmacy Specialists. They are a compounding pharmacy. If you're suffering from HRT, get your doctor's script and go to makerx.com. We'll be right back. You're listening to Connections.
Connections is Relationship Radio.
What is wrong with you people? You don't get no better show than this.
This is Connections.
The hair is standing up on the back of my knees.
Live from 10 to midnight.
What a fun bunch they are. I'd love to hang out with them.
Weeknights at 10 Eastern on the Connections Radio Network at connectionsshow.com.
Welcome back. It is Connections, as Randy Thomas just told you. I am Melissa Fox with 2 X's, and Greg Macpherson is on the line with us from way down on the other side. It's actually tomorrow there already, which is cool. So, Greg Macpherson, biotechnologist, pharmacist, and author of Harnessing the 9 Hallmarks of Aging, says the source of some of the best immune nutrients can be found in the egg yolk, but simply serving them up as breakfast is probably not right. Go ahead and explain that for the people that just tuned in and missed the first part of the show.
Yeah, sure thing, Melissa. So within eggs, the egg yolk is like the immune system for the chicken, and you get some amazing molecules called IgY, and these are immune molecules that target like pathogens like bacteria and fungi and so on, and when you cook them, it breaks those molecules up, so you don't get the benefit of it. So to get the immune benefit of eggs, you need to eat maybe 2 to 3 raw eggs a day, which is tricky for everybody. It's not particularly safe, not particularly nice. So what we've managed to do is isolate that and take and purify the IgY in the chicken eggs so that we get the benefit of those 2 or 3 raw eggs just in a pill. And the immune benefits are just massive.
It sounds very interesting because a pill is going to be much more palatable for me. I was actually gagging a little vomit when you said I had to eat 3 raw eggs. No. I mean, I would try it. I would give it the old girl try, but it would probably come back up. So, zinc, vitamin D, which is a hormone, right? Not necessarily a vitamin.
You're onto it.
Tricky. Look at me. I learned things. And IgY, immunoglobulin yolk. That's what that is. IgY. Now, as we already talked about, obviously, raw eggs are better for you than the cooked eggs and the IgY. How is that different from zinc and also from vitamin D? And why do we actually need that in our system?
Yeah, IgY is like, well, we have immunoglobulins, also known as antibodies, and our immune system builds them. And essentially these proteins do is they identify a bad bacteria or a pathogen, and they neutralize them, and then our immune system jumps in and clears them out. And it's a process which consumes about 30% of our energy every day. And you imagine, when you get sick sometimes, you feel really low energy. And that's because your body is diverting the energy away from, like, I don't know, what you do regularly towards the immune system to launch a response. So it's almost like helping out your immune system when you take IgY, and it gives your immune system a bit of a break and gives it more capacity to deal with either infections or recovery or tissue repair, because there are 2 things your immune system does: it's defend or repair, and that's what IgY helps you do with both.
So when your body gets really tired, as you say, when we sleep, right, our body has gone into a recuperating process, usually, unless we're little young people, and then we're actually growing while we sleep. Correct me at any point if I'm wrong. I'm just a radio person here. I really don't know anything. But just kidding, Greg. We are talking to Greg Macpherson. He is he's like a triple threat: biotechnologist, a pharmacist, and he authored a book called Harnessing the 9 Hallmarks of Aging. And you're just basically saying that, and since the 60s, when I was barely born, mid-60s, I have always heard that eggs were bad rap, and all this. And then they came out with an ad campaign throughout the 70s and 80s, the incredible edible egg, and then it was back to again, boop, bop. One day it's good for you, the next day it's no good, and yeah. How does that make you feel? So, with regards to that, all of your research, you must have been like, wow, why were they saying that? Where did that even come from? Where the bad rap? How?
Yeah, like I think when the dietitians or whatever nutritionists were looking at the egg, they were going, "Wow, there's like a lot of fats in here, a lot of cholesterol." And back in the day, they figured if you ate cholesterol, it would just turn up in your blood, and that's not the case. The body kind of does something called digestion and changes things around and takes the good stuff out of these eggs, and it is a perfect food. So. Yeah, they kind of flipped and then flopped, but the one caveat there is even though we talked about raw eggs, there is some danger with that because they can have bacteria in them. So cooking them is good, and also some people who have like major cholesterol issues do need to limit it. But for the rest of us, it's free range, open season for eggs.
Yes, and obviously these the powdered or pills that you've pulled, where you've pulled the IGY and such out of that, so that we can get enough in our system to actually do some justice, as opposed to trying to kill ourselves and possibly get bad bacteria. But this is good. Okay, so another question for you. Got our people are watching us on the social media, and I've seen two things. One is what. Sorry, then we're not asking about gun control. See, a lot of people outside of the state, they have questions about people who are outside of the state. So but fair enough. Colostrum. Have you heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit
have heard of that.
about colostrum? Do you know anything?
So colostrum. Yeah, it's kind of the pre-milk that's given that, and usually and it's very full of all sorts of goodies like vitamins and fats, and also like something called IgG. So there's IgG from the cows and IgY from the chickens. So it's a great question.
Oh wow!
And we know colostrum well in New Zealand because we have a bunch of dairy here, and it is a remarkable product. Interestingly, one of the ingredients in colostrum is lactoferrin, which is an immune active molecule as well. And we have this in our formula. It's called ovolactoferrin, which is from eggs, and it's an amazing immune molecule. So it's actually we bundle that up and give that to you as well, and it has again just good immune support. And interesting with colostrum and with our product, you get a bit more energy from it because again, we're kind of taking a little load off the immune system, and that manifests as just more energy.
Wow. So would you recommend both of them, using both of them? Is that what you're saying? Or that your product also has colostrum in it?
Yeah, we don't have colostrum in it. Our product is a mixture of IgY from the egg, and we have something called quercetin, which is an amazing
quercetin. I use that to keep allergies at bay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's a really good product for allergies. So you wrap all that up with the vitamin D and C, and you've got yourself a pretty amazing immune formula. There are many benefits for taking colostrum, just as there are with our product.
Thank you, doctor, for I hope these guys, these doctors, every time I do a show like this, they get online and they're like, okay, well, this guy knows this stuff. Well, apparently he did. Thank you very much. Again, if you want to join our chat, we are on the social medias. We record, but we're live on Tuesdays, and then we play back on Thursday nights on the radio, so you can hear your question back, and that's at 9 o'clock, and then we are on podcasts, iHeart Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app. You just look for Connection Show. That's Relationship Radio with a twist. The twist is we can talk about just about anything. Our relationship today is talking about egg yolk, and that is with Greg Macpherson. And let's see, we have some more questions. You guys are awesome. They want to know about nutraceuticals, but I need to take a quick break here before we get too far into that, because I have a feeling that's going to take us a little bit into danger zone. You're listening to Connections. Again, it is Relationship Radio with a twist. If you would like to be a guest on the show, just contact me, melissafox@gmail.com. That's easy enough. 2 X's in Fox, though. Don't disrespect that second X. MakeRx.com, pharmacy specialist. Check them out today online. MakeRx.com. They support us, and so should you.
Connections is Relationship Radio. It's Connections.
That'll put a fucker on your kisser.
That would be fantastic, man.
Today's Bud Day. All you can kick for $4.99.
Ooh, that sounds like a bargain. Welcome back to Connection Show. We do this for you because, frankly, nobody else would. And I feel it's like filling a void here, so let's keep going. It's Melissa Fox along with special guest Greg Macpherson. He's joining us live from New Zealand today. It's very early in the morning there. Tomorrow, but it's just about evening time here, where we are talking about the benefits of egg yolks. Got a question from the social media, Greg, and that is nutraceuticals. Why? How come? Are they any good? What ones are good? That's a very long question, so feel free to do what you want with that.
Yeah, thanks, Melissa.
Thank
So,
you.
nutraceuticals are the evolution of nutrition, right? We've got pharmaceuticals, we've got cosmeceuticals. The ceuticals is really about what sort of effect are we eliciting in the body, and how is it helping? And so, we're starting to understand our cells so well, and to the point where we're starting to work out where targets, where natural products can target them and have a real beneficial effect. So I'm a huge fan of the term nutraceuticals because it's really where we're starting to deliver products from the natural health industry with great efficacy and evidence.
Now, you're a pharmacist, correct? So you understand not only the prescription medicine and the over-counter, and nutraceuticals seem to be a lot of different stuff. Can we narrow down that some of it is dried and sitting and no good? And I mean, how do we get the freshest? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And that's actually, I'm not sure how to answer that question. It's very, I think you've got to do your research personally. It's worth talking to nutritionists and your doctor. But a lot of medicines, drugs come from plants, and then they get refined and become medicines, and that means quite often they're more effective and potent. But on the flip side, sometimes more side effects. So we've just grown up around plants over the last billion years.
Yeah.
And obviously there are still plants that cause problems as well. But what we're trying to do essentially is my philosophy is to go, okay, what's causing the problem, and how do we build a nutrition strategy to actually solve that problem, which down the track might turn into a health issue. And that's our philosophy.
Now, earlier we were talking about colostrum for just a hot minute, and that's one that seems to be fabricated often. And do you find that anyone's out there making synthetic IGY or any of those problems that we might have to look out for?
Yeah, so IGY is really difficult to make. You can make something there are medicines where they call them monoclonal antibodies. That's a mouthful, but it just means exactly the same immunoglobulin throughout the formula. What our immune system does is incredible. It senses and learns from our environment, and the chicken does exactly the same thing, and then it packages up those IGY into the egg yolk, and those IGY are actually they're in response to all the pathogens that chicken is engaged with over its lifetime. So we get the benefit of maybe 1 million, maybe 2 million different immunoglobulins, which gives us a really broad spectrum protection.
So we're talking about the immunity health, immune system, and all that. What does that have to do with our cellular health? And what in the heck is cellular health? Help me out with this, Greg.
We're made of 37 trillion cells, you and I, and we're actually only 10% human. Like if you think about the microbiome, we've actually got another 90% of cells are bacteria and that live with us. But a small percentage of those are not so good for us. They like to have a go and make life challenging for us. And our immune system is kind of dealing with that this the whole time. So this is where we've now learned that we can support that.
Yeah, I think it's a perfectly good question to ask. Don't forgive me, heck, for giving you heck. It's okay. The social media, it has its moments. The hero nutrient of eggs is IGY. I'm going to try it again. Immunoglobulin. No. Yeah, immunoglobulin yolk. Yolk.
You got it.
I tried again. All right, so IGY, what a beautiful world. It is better for you raw, so we've found a way, you found a way, I didn't have anything to do with it, to draw that out, get it in a capsule form. So what are we looking at? Is this a pricey deal? Is it like we still got to take 3 capsules 8 times a day? Are they huge horse pills? Talk to me.
Yeah, for sure. So it's $99 for a month. So and it's 60 capsules. You take 2 a day, so it's nice and easy. And it's really designed for people who might be traveling and stuck in those little tubes called airplanes, or if you've got the daycare blues where you've got little Johnny or Mary in there and picking up all the bugs and bringing them home, or you're just someone who's just wants an extra bit of defense, then that's exactly where this just comes in and supports your immune system. And we're also getting a lot of athletes taking it because you can hit the gym super hard, and your immune system is about repair as much as defending. It helps support like speedier repair. So you can hit the gym harder and you're back in action the next day. And so there are professional athletes taking this product just for that.
Wow, that is pretty impressive. So that the recovery time is really shortened. That's good stuff right there. How long did it take you to figure out all this was going on inside that little egg?
Yeah, so we're really fortunate, Melissa. We, as a company, we work with experts around the world to formulate our product. So this particular product is the brainchild of a Canadian biotech company who has spent, I'd say, 15 years working out, knowing, because we've known about these amazing IgY molecules since I think 1969, right? So it's been a long time. But really only now have we worked out how to isolate it and purify it, because otherwise you've got to eat like spoonfuls of powdered egg, which is not much fun.
Yeah.
So just a couple of capsules makes it so easy.
Yeah, I've had the powdered egg. It is not attractive. It really does not do anything for you. It might do something for you, but it is, So, no good.
Yeah.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking to Greg Macpherson. He is a biotechnologist, a pharmacist, an all-around good guy, and an author as well. How about that? Harnessing the 9 hallmarks of aging. We should probably talk a little bit about how to harness those things, being that I've referenced the book several times. Just, it didn't get away from me. It didn't get away from me, Greg, okay? But right now we're really here to talk about nutraceuticals. We were talking about this IgY. How do you feel about CoQ10? That is something I hear people using for cholesterol reduction.
Yeah, CoQ10 is actually a molecule that's synthesized in the body as part of the cholesterol pathway. So, and it's a molecule that our body uses inside our mitochondria. Mitochondria are like the cellular battery packs, or energy stations, if you will, and they take the food we eat and the energy, the air we breathe, and kind of combine it and burn it to make energy in our cells. And CoQ10 is really important as an antioxidant inside our mitochondria, but also that's involved in the energy manufacturing process. So super important molecule. And it declines as we age, and it also declines if we take anti-cholesterol medicine. So it's quite an important molecule or supplement to add into your regime if you don't have it already. And a lot of people feel a lot of energy when they take it.
Yeah, I'll bet they do. Hey, thank you, Dave, for that question there. Got another one here from Alex as well. What omegas are good? Because he said he's got omega-3, 6, and 9 in his fish oil pills, and he thinks that that's not good. So,
got it. Alex, how are you doing? So I'm a big fan of 3 and 6, and to be honest, I don't know so much about 9. So the important thing and around omegas is you can actually go and get your omega index taken. If you Google that, and the omega index is a wee test that it's a wee pinprick blood test, but you can send it away and work out exactly how much omegas are sitting inside your cells. And that's really important because you might be overdosing or underdosing. Yep. So I really encourage you to go and get that test done. It's pretty cheap.
That sounds pretty easy,
it means
too.
You can up your dose if you're taking too few, or drop it back and save a bit of money.
Well, I'll tell you what, Alex, and I know in particular, and you can correct me always, I've told you this. I gave you carte blanche with that, Greg. But I believe the smaller the fish, the better when it comes to fish oil. Like big fish, Not so good.
I'm actually just diving into omegas right now, but I've only just started, so I know a little about them, but not a lot.
That's okay.
But yeah, I think you're right. Most of the omegas are coming from the small fish, and but I think also in krill as well, right? It's almost like a
Yeah.
pre-fish.
Yeah, got to be careful. Actually, I've heard that krill, that's kind of a... but you're learning about fish, and I only know what I know. IGY. Yeah, I'm playing this song for you. IGY. We got to take a quick break here. This is Connections Relationship Radio with a twist. We are down under and back in just a second. Stay right there.
Connections is Relationship Radio.
I'm drunk right now, so that kind of stuff amuses me.
Buy me a beer, $2 a glass. Come on, help me, I'm freezing by.
I don't do those. Those rejoins are brought to you by Nunez Productions. Whether you want it in Spanish or English or American Sign Language, check out NunezProductions.com. This is Connection Show brought to you by Pharmacy Specialists. I'm your host, Melissa Fox, and our guest today in this final segment, Greg Macpherson, and the book was called Harnessing the 9 Hallmarks of Aging. Do we have actually time to talk about all 9 of those?
Yeah, look, let's break it into 3 and make it nice and easy.
There you go. Yeah.
My book is about strategies to age well with what we know with the science around cellular aging, and so the 3 key things we want to take away from it, if you will, was the three hallmarks that we'll focus on are DNA.
Okay.
So it turns out that your DNA is actually what drives how fast you age, and so you need to look after it. You look after it by doing things like not smoking and perhaps drinking a little less, exercising.
Less? Just a little less? Okay.
A little less.
Make a mark on that down. Yeah. Okay, and then and exercising, yeah.
And then the next thing is energy, right? These mitochondria that we have that we just talked about, that our little cellular batteries, our batteries run out as we get older, and that affects how our cells work. So there are little tricks that you can take to boost your mitochondria. CoQ10 is one of them. So it's like exercising is another. And then the last thing is cellular housekeeping, right? We get a little lazy with our cells, and we build up junk cells in our body, and that increases the amount of inflammation and generally sends us on a track towards disease. So those are the 3 things that you want to be aware of and take care of them. You address it by maybe having a slightly different diet. So you can go and predominantly have a plant-based diet. Is actually known now to be the best longevity diet that we can have. Keep moving and exercising, because that's so important. Our body just loves to be challenged and moving.
Let's go back to the plant-based diet. You definitely have to have some supplementation of proteins and such, though, even if it is healthy, as you say, right? You can't just go and eat vegetables and fruits all day and think that's going to cut the mustard. It's not. Can you explain
100%.
just a little bit there?
We're carnivores. We're omnivores, right? We're meant to eat meat as well as vegetables. So what I reference the blue zones, which are like 5 places around the world where people have remarkable longevity, and they have a plant-based diet, but they do enjoy a steak from time to time, some fish, etc. So it's balanced. But the data's out, and we predominantly eat plants. That's from a longevity perspective good. And of course, you've got to change up a little things when you get to sort of 60s and 70s, because you need more protein in your life, and that's really the best way to get that is through meat.
Okay, yeah. See, I was wondering. I just I did a show a couple of weeks back with someone was talking about smoothing over to this plant-based diet without losing out all of this, and immediately with supplementation, it was nutraceuticals. And under doctor's care as well. You don't just all of a sudden say, that's it, I'm going to be a vegetarian. Don't do that, and just, get some guidance. No. And it's also a transitional thing too, folks. You don't want to just, that's it today. You've got to kind of wean yourself down and then build yourself up, correct?
Yeah, that's such a great point, Melissa. And it's yeah, you have to be so careful about shifting diets and what that impact can have on our cells and our bodies and ultimately our health.
Certainly.
So yes, absolutely. And the other thing is, yeah, exercise. We just know this is so good for us. Even if you're not doing much right now, just a 5-minute walk is good. It's amazing how quickly you can build up. But, for the last, probably for the last 30, 40 years, we've stopped exercising. But for the previous, human history, we've been out there working and building exercise into our life.
Mm-hmm.
Our body is designed for it. It needs it. It loves it. So it's just easy not to do it.
Right. Not a fan of the sedentary lifestyle myself as I sit here doing the show with you. Normally I stand and I'm moving all around. And I find like I get enough activity just doing my job because I refuse to just sit in a chair the whole time. But still, you're right. Walking around the building a few times. It's too hot here in Florida to be outside doing much of anything unless you are a roofer. I don't know how they do it. I mean, it's just ridiculous heat. But we talked about energy. When you look at supplementation there, what about a Super B vitamin also? Would that help?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So these are when you talk about something that gives you energy, it's working at the mitochondria, which are the little battery packs inside our cells, and they use B. There's a new molecule right now which is super popular and really interesting. It's called NAD. I don't know if you've heard about it, but
I have.
NAD is well, it's really interesting. It is the most abundant molecule in our body outside of water, right? So it's involved in 300 or 400 different chemical processes and in our cells, and it drops off a cliff in terms of its the amount of NAD in our cells from the age of like 40, 50. So there's a particular type of vitamin B called NMN and NR, and these are molecules which boost NAD in our cells, and the research is coming in thick and fast that these delivers huge benefits to us.
Wow. That is really good stuff there we're listening to. How about berberine? Have you heard any good stuff about berberine?
I love berberine. I take it every day.
And what does the supplement do?
So if you look back and look at your cells, if you think of them as you have one particular master enzyme called mTOR, which is MTOR, and it's a whole bunch of science. But the big thing with mTOR is it's a switch, and if you've eaten, then mTOR turns on, and it has all these little pathways come in to so that you build tissue. So when you eat, it builds tissue. So it's great when you're a kid because you're going to grow. Mm-hmm. As we get to be adults, you need to turn it off from time to time. And when you turn it off, and you do that by having an occasional fast or missing some food, you only need to do that for perhaps 8 hours. What you do is you actually the body flips to getting energy from breaking down old cells and the junk and old proteins, etc. Oh. So when you turn off mTOR, it's like a housekeeping process that clears the body out. So where I'm getting to with berberine is that it's something called an AMPK activator, and that's part of the same sort of pathway. And it just essentially makes the body think that it's time to do some cellular renewal, and so I take berberine every day for that reason, that it essentially activates this particular enzyme pathway, which helps me clear out the junk. I'm getting into my mid-50s now, right? And you need all the help you can get.
Oh yeah.
And berberine's, I think, used in a lot of diabetics. They use it as a nutraceutical for that specific thing.
I think I listed off everything that I actually take on a daily basis with you as well. Let's see, vitamin D, of course, 5,000 UIs, whatever it is, a day. Let's see, we got the fish oil, but only the lower end, the 3 and the 6 omegas, the 9, not so good. Q-certain, which we talked about, berberine, vitamin Super B, like a complete B. And what was the other one? Oh, little iron supplement as well, combined with some more B. I have to do it. And CoQ10.
Completely on the right track.
And CoQ10 as well. Yeah. Now, I'm not a fan of melatonin. Doesn't do anything. Is that right? Melatonin. A lot of people I know here use it to sleep, but it doesn't work.
Yeah, look, It's a great molecule. It's again, it works in the mitochondria, and it's like the sleep hormone. But yeah, I take it and stay awake all night. So I'm not a fan.
Yeah,
Just
again,
for whatever reason, it doesn't work for me.
Doesn't work for me either. What about magnesium, calcium? Do we need these kind of things in our added on to our diet as well?
Well, magnesium is great, and that's a really important molecule in our bodies, and people will take that for a bit of, for mood and for cramps and all sorts.
Yeah, I was gonna
helps
say I
with
know
sleep.
for cramps. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's different types of magnesium, and calcium. Calcium's good, but you've got to take it with vitamin K because if calcium if you're not taking it with vitamin K, then it can end up in your arteries, and it stiffens them up, and it's not so good.
Well, see, that's the same with the vitamin D. You got to take that with the fish oil to activate it properly, or it doesn't do what it's supposed to do all the way. So we started talking out initially, and we're going back there to finding out that eggs were not the bad eggs that we thought they were, but rather they're actually good for you. IGY, immuno, here we go, 1, 2, 3, immunoglobulin yolk, IGY, I think I got it that time, is very important, and it's going to help you recover speedily from illness when you're at the gym, even if you're a weekend warrior, as you put it. All the way around, it helps your cellular health, as you said, get into a mode where it's in recovery. And where can we go get more information, or for that matter, pick up some IGY?
Yeah, thank you. So you pop across to S for science, R for research, W for wellness.co. So not the .com. So it's www.srw.co. You'll learn a little bit about the hallmarks of aging, because that's so important around healthy aging, and we've got some products which help you with that. And then there's some immune product which we're really excited to have recently launched, and it's about helping our bodies deal with these massive insults that we're getting right now, and help us recover.
I love it. I love it so much. I want to also direct people to get your books, and that would be the Harnessing the 9 Hallmarks of Aging. Again, Greg Macpherson, our guest today, and I really thank you. I've had a wonderful time. I know I didn't think I could talk about egg yolks for 40 minutes either, but we did it. It's crazy, right?
We did it.
Greg, thanks for being a guest today and enlightening us about IGY on Connection Show.
Thanks so much, Melissa.
It's been a blast. All right, folks, we'll be back next week to do it again.
Laughing time is over.
There you have it, boys. Case closed.
You've been listening to Connections. Find tonight's show and replays of our past shows on connectionsshow.com.
All right. I think it was a lot of fun. Thank you. And made it enjoyable. And I think a lot of people, from so far, at least from the chat, they enjoyed it and had questions, and they were trying to stump you. Ooh, I love that.
It's good, right? I enjoyed the challenge.
It was. And you succeeded, all except for the omega-9s. Look that up. It's for the haddock and bigger fish, where it's more of a filler, actually, in the fish oil, from what I understand. But other than that, you are awesome.
All right. Awesome. Lovely. Thanks for making it easy, Melissa. I appreciate it.
No problem. Go back to bed now. Good night.
I will. Good night.